Hello to all and welcome to the Stars and Scrum. So this is the second episode of this week after we're talking with Shalva Mamukashvili and Tomas Appleton about the grand final. We go now to Netherlands and Germany as they're going to play for the ranked finals, so the fifth place matchup. And it's going to be a great one. It's almost a derby between Netherlands and Germany, and you're going to see who wins. And let's talk a bit today with Christopher Raymond and Leo Wolf to understand how the teams are prepping up, how this voyage in 2023 have been, and what they want individually and as a team to get in on Sunday and in the future. So, welcome to both of you. On Sunday, we're going to have a beautiful game for the fifth place. I hope in Amsterdam the stands can be full of people. Just to remind, you can buy the tickets online in Rugby Europe. So visit us, buy it, and see it. For those who can go to Amsterdam or Badajoz, you can watch it online in our channel or the broadcast. So, Christopher, as I was saying, and I'll start by the end. On Sunday, the best thing you can have is a full stand to make big noise and to have a big crowd at home, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to have good numbers this weekend. There's two big games here in Amsterdam, but I think the home crowd is really selling the tickets well this week, and they're going to be there cheering us on.
I have already talked with this with David Wiersma, but the Dutch public is like the 16th players for Netherlands, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when things are going well. I'm a player that doesn't really hear things outside the pitch. I'm quite tunnel visioned and concentrating on the game. But every time I play in Amsterdam, you can definitely feel the crowd cheering you on for the whole 80 minutes.
About Netherlands, it's have been a good season after two losses. Well, two close losses because against Spain you played with a score line until the end, and with Georgia, first half was amazing. You kind of made things hard for them, and then you won against Germany now and Belgium on the semifinals. Now, so what you're seeing from this year, do you think you got better from the last three seasons? You think Netherlands is already stepping up?
Absolutely, I think we are. I think the last two seasons in the championship really tested us. It showed the gap between championship and trophy at a physical and mental level. And the boys worked hard in the off season, getting fitter, faster, stronger, and working tactically on their game to be able to compete more at this level. And it feels definitely this year that we've closed that gap. Last year, I think we lost 50 points to Spain, 70 points to Georgia, and both those point scores have halved almost, and definitely closed them a lot.
So where do you think Netherlands grew more in comparison with last season?
Um, like I say, I think a lot of the boys have learned in the last two seasons where they need to be. Um, yeah, it was a big step up going in from the trophy straight into the championship,
Mhm.
and the boys really worked in the off season to get fitter and stronger, and we're working hard in the gym and on the pitch to improve the points we needed to be able to compete at this level.
Oh, so we understand now. But I'm coming back to you to talk about Lynn Jones and the input he gave to the team. I want to know what's your opinion as a forward. Visma already told us about as a back. Mr. Wolf, Germany came back up and scored a very important win in the semi-final, and it was a very good match against Poland. How have Germany adapted to life back in the championship after getting promoted from the trophy?
First of all, this last game was a great win. We were super excited as a team, and yeah, I think as each game progresses, we are improving as it comes. Unfortunately, we're not a full professional team, but we use what we've got to bring it out and show it on the field.
From last season, so the trophy competition to the championship, what were the two? I'm going to just two major difference from one season to the other. or from one competition to the other?
Definitely the competitive level increased a lot as we're playing against a lot better teams. Georgia, Netherlands, Spain, Poland and Belgium we were familiar with, but for sure the skill level and intensity of gameplay is definitely a big jump for us.
We have really enjoyed the coach interviews from Germany because we heard them talking about this from the transition from trophy to championship, and always very humble and very insightful. But how is this approach to the team this season? How has been the coaching staff working you to tackle a competitive level that is like 2 levels above what was in the trophy?
It hasn't been much of a difference. We've just obviously know that the levels increase, so we have to bring higher standards. And of course, that has been said throughout our trainings that the level that we did play at is no longer worthy. So every game we need to pick up our standard, obviously, to prove ourselves against the bigger competitions.
For example, when you faced Germany, when you faced Georgia, how was the adaptation against such a powerful foe?
Well, definitely as the start, as I'm sure most of the viewers could see, we were a bit shocked and completely surprised at the level, but we did pick it up a little bit and show in the second half that we can restrict Georgia from scoring as much tries as in the first half and put 2 tries on the board ourselves.
2 tries on the board. Before going back to Mr. Raymond, about tries, Germany loves to use the kick, the upper under the grabber. How do you work on this? Is this one of your major highlights on the training or in the camp?
Well, I mean, a lot of there's a couple of the players that play together in club, so we have good communication already, and I would say it all just evolves from good awareness in game and also good communication. And yeah, we do train it with our backline coach a bit. We have done a couple of training sessions with grubbers and chip kicks and etc.
So it's very interesting if you can watch against Poland in the semi-final. So people go see the highlights because that kick that led to one of the tries that led Germany to the 5th place ranked match is just spicy and juicy. Whatever you want to call it is a special one. Christopher, coming back to you, one of the things that most people have noticed from the Netherlands is the mole. It's it's menacing. When you get up and running, it just drives forward and forward. And against Georgia, you made them concede 1 try by a mole and get 2 yellow cards from them. Care to explain how this transition in the last 3 years came to coming from a good mole but not dominating one, and now having a dominating one?
Yeah, I think we had a good foundation from what we had in the last 2 seasons, but we had a new coach come in and fine tune things slightly, just the finer details on setting our body height, staying connected, bringing everyone in tighter. And when things start to split off, you don't just split off for the sake of splitting off. You try to fight to stay in the battle and let the opposition split off. And that definitely, you can see the improvements even throughout the season from against Spain all the way through to our last game against Belgium, where we scored 3 tries off a maul. It's a part of the game that we've really been trying to work hard on at training.
Now I'm going to talk about. I know players from Rugby don't like to talk about themselves, but we have to do this because people have to know you. Both of our today's guests have good stats from the Rugby Europe Championship 2023. So, Christopher, off the record, I talked to you about your good stats. It's been a very good season for you. You have to admit it. You carry powerfully, and you have scored some tries. Your tackle efficiency is one of the highest. Can you care to explain how you prepared so well for this season?
Yeah, I took a bit of a break over summer and just relaxed away from rugby. But before I did that, I looked back on the previous season, both club and internationally, and picked out a couple areas I really thought I needed to work on. Um, and what part of that was my power output on the field. And so I worked for 2 months in the off season where I stuck to a 6 day training week, a proper diet for 6 months, not 2 months, sorry, and really worked hard, especially a lot of one-on-one sessions with Mason C coach to get better. And then when we started doing on-field stuff, I really working with my coach to do more one-on-one technique and fine tuning it that way.
Um, for the people at home or that are not from Netherlands or don't follow the Super Cup or the Rugby Europe Championship and now are getting used to it, can you tell us about your rugby journey a bit? We know already the last 6, 8 months. So, but before that, how do you become a Dutch international? What was your adventure until this point?
I grew up in New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, and as soon as I finished school, um, rugby wasn't the first career path I chose. I was actually chose to be a farmer, so I got a good job on a farm, and then was playing for the Wairarapa Bush in the New Zealand Heartland Championship. And I was new to the area, new to the team, straight out of school. But everyone was pointing out this guy called Johan van Vliet, who was playing for seven for the Dutch team at the time. And I sort of thought, well, I've got family from Holland. My Oma and Opa were born in Holland. And I knew that made me eligible, so I started following him a bit and getting to know. But after 4 years playing in the Heartland Championship, got an offer to go to Scotland. I joined up with Melrose and the Southern Knights in the Super Six competition there. But unfortunately, COVID happened and stopped playing rugby there for a bit. But they were already playing in Holland, and a club had rung me up to ask if I wanted to come join. And I already had good connections at that club. So I came over and started pushing my way into the Dutch team, and yeah, that's where I am now. So
Yeah, so if from New Zealand to Netherlands, what a trip. Leo, coming back to you, and it's how was your trip with Germany? Because Netherlands came back to got a promotion back in 2020, so they have been under the sunlight. But how has been your journey with Germany until this point?
Um, yes, well, I've only started playing recently. I played my first in this European. No, what's the one below this one? European Champs? Trophy.
Trophy.
That was my first season last year. Or the last season was in Trophy. That was my first few games for Germany, um, and it's been going great since then. I got the call up against Lithuania. We showed some good rugby and put a good score against them, and then played another 3 games. Unfortunately, losing 2 of them and beating Switzerland. And then this season has also then just continued with these last 4 games. Luckily, winning one and now fighting for the 5th spot. So it hasn't been a long journey, but it's been a good one so far.
It's interesting because in this season you have been one of Germany's best, one of the best players for Germany. You have did some of the most wonderful skills on the pitch. So, care to explain, as I asked Christopher Raymond, how you got to be at this level for this season?
Yeah, I've just a lot of hard work off season. Keep putting it in the ground. Yeah, rugby's pretty much an all year round sport nowadays. So yeah, when you aren't playing, you're working on some small skills and extras that you can put in and make them show in the game, like conditioning, passing, kicking. But everything goes nowadays, so off season isn't really an off season anymore.
Oh, so just a small question. 2 areas of the game that you try to improve a lot in the past 8 months.
Um, I've definitely worked on my defense. A couple of years ago, I would say I wasn't one of the top. So I was a bit more, I wouldn't say afraid of tackling, but it wasn't my strong suit. So I've really worked on and actually realized that it's all on technique. As long as you get the right technique in, you can take down whoever's in front of you. So definitely tackling, and I would say my kicking game, as it is a good advantage to have a left boot and a right boot in the team. So I've definitely worked on my kicking, especially with the new rule 50-22 coming into play, to be able to attack both sides of the field.
Do you like the 50-22?
Yes, yeah. I find it makes teams stay on their feet and keep their eyes open for space, and just to get back onto the advantage. You can be under the pump, and then all of a sudden it can swing back into your favor.
Yeah, that's good to know. So for the people at home that ask why the 50-22 is so liked by players, is a good explanation. Just a question about Germany rugby. Where do you think it's going? Do you think it's developing well in the for the future?
Um, I've had this chat quite a few times with like a lot of players and also coaches. Uh, it's tough to say because for rugby to develop in a country, I think there needs to be a money input. And just at this very moment, there's not the biggest input into the German rugby. We have only about 3 competitive teams in our Bundesliga. So it is a bit tough, but hopefully it can improve in the next couple of years. But time will tell.
When I ask about this, the money is a good detail, but the kids, do you think you see more youngsters coming to rugby, or things still are a little bit on a sleep hold?
Well, if I use my club for an example, I think there are quite a few kids coming into rugby. We run quite a big youth program here at 1880 in Frankfurt, where we have a lot of players, including me and including a couple of the other German internationals as well, that help coach at the club. And I think it definitely is a big factor in bringing more youth and kids into rugby, which has been the case in the past few years here in Frankfurt.
Okay, so this is good to know. So people that live in Frankfurt, they want to go experience rugby. Here, Leo Wolf's
Definitely.
club is a good place to go. Christopher, about you at the beginning of show, I already asked you this, but you came from New Zealand, so you saw a lot. It's a country where a lot of people play rugby. Now in Netherlands for the past 3 years, do you think the sport is starting to get on the wheel on its wheels and getting momentum?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think the union's doing some good positive things to keep building the sport here. Um, but also the clubs are doing their part. I know, like Leo said, his club has a good youth program, and my club here in the Netherlands also does. But we're also using our players to go into primary schools and deliver just a little rugby clinic for the day with each class, and we're sort of targeting the younger age group. They do swimming lessons over here. I think a lot of it's compulsory. So just as they finish their swimming lessons and they're getting older and experiencing new sports, we're trying to target them then, so that they know what rugby is and they can come join our club. And yeah, that's what we're about really here. It was really trying to get into them young, doing little bits in schools and holiday camps and stuff like that to introduce rugby to them.
So that's good to know. On Sunday, we're going to see a lot of kids on the stands seeing the match. So it's going to be a ruckus, noisy. I don't want to say chaotic because it's not chaotic, but it's going to be almost a party. So are you expecting full stand on Sunday, Christopher? Do you think it's going to be like a great show for everyone?
Yeah, I think it will be. I think the stands are going to be really busy. I mean, it's like a local derby, and we're playing off for fifth place. So I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be full stands, and the team really wants a full stand to get in behind us and cheer us on.
What's your thoughts about Sunday as well? What do you think about Germany?
I think just like the last time we played them this season, it's going to be a very physical encounter. Um, it could be a bit scrappy at times, but I think whatever team sticks to their game plan and wins the physicality is the team that's going to come out on top. Both teams, I think, are fairly matched.
Oh, that's good. It's a good compliment for Leo, isn't it? So can you give back to Christopher some love?
Yeah, well, Sunday's not going to be anything but a hard fought fight between both teams, I'm sure. As we saw in the previous game, definitely very physical, and like Chris has said, whoever sticks to their structure and game plan will and should hopefully come out victors at the end of the day.
As I asked Christopher, I ask you: we are expecting a full stand on Sunday, so it's going. That I think that's going to. I hope there's Germany fans on the stands as well, but we know it's in Netherlands. It's going to be at their home in Amsterdam, so it's going to be full of orange on the public. Do you think that can be a driving force for your team to get a good exhibition there?
Yes, for sure. A big crowd is always good to play in front of, and it does motivate the boys. I mean, in Amsterdam, there's obviously going to be a lot of Orange supporters around, so it will also put a lot of pressure on us. But I'm sure just playing for the 5th spot is enough for the boys to get excited and give a good game to the supporters.
Oh, so okay, that's very nice. And now for the end, I want both of you to send a message to people at home. You can do it in English, or if you want to do on your own language, you can. We know Christopher wasn't born on Netherlands, but he can do in English because everyone there speaks, or almost everyone speaks their English. So I'll start with with you, Lee Wolf, because you are the guest of Netherlands for Sunday. So the guests go first. So please.
Es wird super, wenn alle von unseren Unterstützer im Amsterdam dabei sein können. Wir freuen uns über Sonntag und hoffentlich sehen wir euch dabei.
Oh, that's good. I don't talk German, but I think it was good. So Christopher, it's up to you now.
Yes, to all our supporters out there, please come down on Sunday at 3 o'clock to support your team. Tell your friends, family, your neighbours, anyone. Bring them all down. You get the tickets from the Rugby Netherlands website. And yeah, it'd be good to see you all there.
So you have here official invitations by 2 of the best players from this season. Christopher was named in the best 16 players from the pool stage. Lee Wolf was on the 20, so it was 4 places from getting there. So to the people who are watching this show, I remember that on Sunday in Amsterdam we going to have 2 games: Belgium, Poland at 30 minutes past 12, and then Netherlands, Germany at 3 p.m. So CET times. And this is for the rank matches. Netherlands and Germany are playing for the 5th place. It's going to be a very interesting game. You can buy the tickets online. You should buy the tickets online. Don't buy on the day because there's going to be a lot of people. So try and prep before you get there. For the people who can't drive or go to Amsterdam or Badajoz, you can watch it on Rugby Europe TV, or if some broadcasting TV have the rights, you have to watch it on there. So thank you both for coming for the show. This was the Stars and Scrums Rugby Europe podcast that talks with the players. Please follow Christopher Raymond and Lee Wolf on social media because their careers for the countries are starting or finally getting to the level they deserve. So thank you both for coming and see you next time.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you.